Welcome back to another episode of Dreading, or if this is your first time here, welcome. Today, we are going to be revisiting the case of the Todt family and how the patriarch Anthony Todt planned and executed every member of his family in Disney's town of Celebration, Florida. This case was the first we had ever covered on this channel, and as it was still developing, we didn't have access to all of the court documents and evidence that would later be used in the trial. We have come back to this case once before, where we went over the second interrogation and his testimony in his own defense, which went horrendously.
Her eyes were, at one point, the color of the most fluorescent yellow highlighter you ever seen in your life. I swear her eyes could...
Objection, Meredith.
Mr. Todt?
Yes, all irregular. It was basically, you take four wheels of a car.
Objection, Your Honor, lack of medical knowledge. And Meredith. Academy at some point as well to purchase a longer knife?
That's correct.
And isn't it true that you also said in the interview, you spoke about the note that was left?
That's correct.
And you told law enforcement that you printed it after Megan's death.
Correct.
And you testified here today that that wasn't true.
That's correct.
However, we were unable to go over his first interrogation as it wasn't yet publicly available. This interrogation is arguably more important to go over, as it was both taken directly after he was taken to the hospital after being found living with his family's decaying bodies, and he goes as far as to confess to the crime. Given how meticulously Tony had planned out his family's passing and how he believed he would get away with his crime, I wanted to revisit this case, go over the interrogation audio, and showcase how Tony destroyed the defense he was going to use immediately after being found. If this is your first time hearing about this case, we will provide an incredibly brief summary of the events that led up to Tony being arrested and interrogated. But for a more comprehensive look into the crime, the original video will be left in the description box down below. As always, if there is a video you would like to see us make, let me know by either leaving a comment or emailing us at dreading.official@gmail.com. We go through and respond to emails daily, and if there is a question, comment, or concern, that is the quickest method to get to us. With all of that said, let us begin. Anthony and Megan Todt met each other while in high school and quickly fell in love. Tony would state that he was extremely popular and well-liked in high school, and though he could have his choice of any girl he wanted, he only had eyes for Megan. This was routinely done in a sort of negging manner, as Tony would define himself as a catch and describe Megan as plain. He regularly made his wife aware of the fact that she was lucky to be with him, not the other way around. Megan was described by those who knew her as being kind, caring, and a bit shy. Where Tony was a class clown and demanded everybody's attention when he entered a room, Megan was a bit more quiet and demure, never wanting to overstep or impose. Friends would describe Megan as being extremely considerate, always putting others before herself, and they believed that was what attracted Megan to Tony. The couple would decide to go to college together and pursue matching degrees in physical therapy. According to college classmates, they weren't sure that Megan was as interested in her degree as her husband, and some went as far as to say that they believed that Tony was extremely controlling of their quieter friend. Despite their concerns, Megan and Tony would graduate, get married, and open their own physical therapy practice in Connecticut, which was extremely successful. Like he had been in high school, Tony was extremely well regarded. His clients loved him and felt like he was the reason they were able to live free of pain, as he was the only physical therapist in the area that would acknowledge their pain and try to help them. The newlyweds were extremely active in the community, with Megan teaching yoga and Pilates in the town. However, when Megan would eventually become pregnant, she took a massive step back. Everyone who knew Megan knew that her ultimate dream was to become a mother. She had taken care of nearly everyone in her life, and when she became pregnant with her first child, she knew exactly what she wanted to do. She informed her husband that she was going to be a full-time, stay-at-home mother to their kids, and that she wanted to homeschool them herself. Megan and Tony would go on to have 3 children, Alec, Tyler, and Zoe. While living in Connecticut, the family was extremely active in their community. The children all played sports and took music lessons, and Anthony was a volunteer for the local youth soccer program. However, in 2017, everything seemed to change. According to Anthony, while the family was on vacation to Disney World, Megan was bitten by a bug and contracted Lyme disease. In Anthony's words, Megan became a shell of herself. She couldn't eat, she couldn't move, and she required nearly round-the-clock care. Because he was a physical therapist, a profession he felt was extremely close to a doctor, he took on the mission of treating her and was determined to find a cure for her sickness. So naturally, the family made the decision for Megan and the children to move to Florida and stay full-time in their vacation home, while Anthony worked in Connecticut during the weeks, then flew to Florida on the weekends. How much of Megan's ailment is actually real is debatable, because in 2017, Megan withdrew from her social life, where she had been an active part in the community. She stopped attending events, stopped socializing with friends, and she was rarely seen out and about. But we don't know why this is. What we do know is that Megan wasn't nearly as ill as Anthony would state in court, especially since she was the children's sole caretaker the majority of the time. Tony testified that Megan could barely talk, barely walk, and take care of herself. Yet, she was able to keep her children active, fed, and attending their classes while they lived in Florida, with apparently no outside help. That doesn't make any sense, which is likely because it's not true. While the majority of the family was in Florida, they kept to themselves. Megan didn't actively keep in contact with any of her friends out of state, and it appeared that she wasn't interested in making new ones. The family was seen by neighbors playing together outside on occasion, but it was rare that they would talk to anyone outside of their immediate family. When Megan and the kids moved to Florida, Tony gained a significant amount of weight. He had always made it a point to be healthy, often telling his patients that the cure to any ailment they had was likely a better, more active lifestyle. But by 2019, he had gained over 50 pounds and was diagnosed with diabetes. He would go on to say that the weight gain was due to stress, given his living situation. When Megan and the kids had moved out, Tony decided to put their home up for sale, meaning that during the week, while he was working, he had nowhere to live. At first, he crashed on some of his friends' couches and in their guest homes, but after a few weeks, he would go between renting an Airbnb or sleeping in his office. The added stress of not knowing where he was going to sleep at night and being away from his family and worrying about Megan was the reason he had gained the weight, and told his friends that the moment he got his life in order, the weight would just fall off. At the same time, it was discovered that Anthony was charging patients for care they had never received. After a complaint was filed by one of his clients with the FBI, a subsequent investigation showed that Anthony was billing his patients' insurance for thousands of dollars in treatments, then using the excess money to pay for the family home and celebration, as well as trips to Disney World. Similarly, he had taken out multiple loans to supplement his income and had gotten the family into a hefty amount of debt. On November 21st, the FBI raided Todt's offices, seized all of his records, and interviewed Tony about the insurance fraud. At first, Tony denied he had billed Medicaid any services that he did not provide, going so far as to say he didn't need to do so because he was so successful. But when the agents divulged some of the evidence they had against him, Tony folded, admitting that he started, quote, adding stuff while billing and randomly choosing patients to submit extra claims for. Notably, when Tony confessed, he emphasized to the investigators that he was the only person responsible for billing. No one else was involved with his scheme, and that his wife knew nothing about the fraud. After Tony confessed, he asked the agents if he would be allowed to go and spend the holidays with his family in Florida, before they could reconvene with his lawyers and figure out where to go from there. And given that his was a non-violent offense, and he had no priors, they allowed him to go off and spend the next month with his family. They had no way of knowing what he'd planned on doing with his time away. On January 7th, agents investigating Tony contacted one of his relatives in Connecticut because they hadn't been able to reach him. She told them that she was worried because Tony was not communicating the way he usually would. The relative had become so concerned that she had contacted authorities in Florida to conduct a welfare check, which was done on December 29th. But sheriffs could not locate Todt, and the home they were thought to be living in was boarded up. Days later, on Monday, January 13th, authorities went to Todd's Florida home to serve the arrest warrant. When they got there, they found Todt in the home with the bodies of his family members. Despite multiple welfare checks being done on the home, Tony had been inside the entire time, living with the bodies of his children, wife, and dog. The home was in disarray, as Tony had purposely turned off the air conditioning and all appliances to make it appear as if no one was home. Because of that, the bodies of his family, which he had slept next to for weeks, had decomposed beyond recognition. Tony was immediately taken into custody on Monday, and deputies took him to the hospital as he claimed he had taken some allergy pills in an attempt to take his own life, and they were not sure how much he'd taken. He would give varying amounts, claiming that he took a whole bottle of Benadryl, then stating it was just a handful of pills, and appeared to be in a heavily impaired state. That is where this interview takes place. Again, for a more comprehensive and thorough look at this case, I will leave a link to our first and second video about the subject in the description box down below. This portion of the interview was thrown out of the trial as Detective Cole Miller did not properly Mirandize Todt prior to speaking with him. According to court documents, Miller did not have a Miranda card with him and tried to give the warnings from memory before questioning, which was ultimately incomplete and wrong. Miller would eventually right this wrong during the second portion of this interview, which took place 50 minutes after the first one. However, after Tony had been properly Mirandized, this portion of the interview would still have been contested, given Todt's mental state. He had just been found living amongst his family's dead bodies and had taken a significant amount of medication, and his lawyers argued that he didn't have the capacity to waive his rights or speak to police. The defense brought expert Dr. Susan Scully Danziger to the stand to state that Todt's statements directly after being taken to the hospital should not have been used against him in court, as he claimed to be seeing things that weren't there and appeared to think that he was talking to his wife at times. However, during cross-examination, she acknowledged that Todt could answer basic questions such as the exact date and the identity of the President of the United States. The state's expert, Dr. Bruce Goldberg, testified that although Todt appeared to be not well during the interview, his answers to law enforcement were consistent and appropriate to the questions asked, indicating that he had at least some degree of awareness of the situation. Because of that, the second half of this interview was deemed admissible. With all of that said, let us begin.
Then I'm going to let him do that, but so let me get it right. Tony, it's actually, is it Anthony?
It's Anthony.
Okay, I was just assuming that. So Anthony, sorry for the interruption. Anthony, do you have a middle name?
John.
John?
John.
John?
Yes.
Okay. And last name?
Todt. T-O-D-T.
T-O-D-T.
D-T.
T-O-D-T. And your date of birth, Anthony?
9/29/75.
9/29/75. Tony, you got a phone number?
That's yeah, I was phone.
What's the number?
860-916-860.
6536. Okay. Obviously, we're here at Celebration Health. All right, you're being treated for whatever reasoning this may be. Do you have any medical conditions or anything like that you take any type of medications for or anything like that?
Blood sugars.
Just blood sugars?
Yes.
Did you take your meds before today or?
I stopped them. No, sorry. I went down to one. I didn't take anything today.
You didn't take anything today?
Oh, yes.
But obviously they've been giving you some type of medications for that, for blood sugar?
Outside here, yeah. Yeah, that's actually the first time I got medication for blood sugar.
What I'm going to do is, like we were just talking,
Yeah.
I'm asking to ask you some questions and stuff.
Oh, yes.
I want to protect you and I want to protect myself, and obviously it's for the greater good that we're going through right now with this investigation. Okay, your cooperation will go a long way. All right, what I want to do is, I want to go over some Miranda warnings, okay, Miranda rights.
Okay.
You understand all that?
Yes.
Okay, so right now you have the right to remain silent, do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. You have the right to have an attorney present before and during any questioning, do you understand?
I do.
Okay, all right, and obviously, I came to you in seeking of some information and stuff like that I need to have to help explain the situation, so.
While the exact language above is not required by law, the police must advise a suspect that, number 1, they have the right to remain silent, number 2, anything the suspect does say can and may be used against them in a court of law, number 3, they have the right to have an attorney present before and during the questioning, and, number 4, they have the right, if they cannot afford the services of an attorney, to have one appointed, at public expense and without cost to them, to represent them before and during the questioning. The officer clearly didn't do that in this case, and should have gone back to his car to get a Miranda card.
You feel comfortable speaking with me right now?
I do.
Okay, it's a very tragic event, and I'm trying to make.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
Well, the story, not much, just here's the story.
tell me what happened.
We've been following videos on Guyana.com, which is an intellectual, spiritual, emotional site. They talk about a lot about space travel, that kind of stuff, and different things. Talk about how things made, it's different outlook on it. As things have regressed, my wife is, I want to say chronically ill. The liver issues and all that kind of stuff because of bad medicine.
The liver issues?
For my wife.
Yeah. Okay.
She's in constant pain and everything. And it was brought to me that the patient, the client, will seek you out and seek you out if you're out there advertising, listen to things, okay? He, in the meantime, everybody's fine, no problem really. And then for some reason, America said, okay, this is gonna be the day because we have a window to get to this. It's an area of light.
Okay.
Okay, higher intellectual aspect about that. And I was like, how do we get here? Okay, let's do this. And
Just take a deep breath. Slow down. Okay. If I can get you some water, I'll get you some water.
Tony is claiming that the family, or at the very least himself and Megan, had fallen into a spiritualist cult that encouraged them to kill themselves. As far as I have been able to find, there is no proof of this occurring, and I cannot find proof of this cult existing. Court documents seem to indicate that Megan was into holistic medicine and remedies, and was spiritual, but no evidence exists showing her interacting with anyone who believed that the apocalypse was upon us, as Tony had said. Had Megan and Tony been heavily involved in an apocalyptic cult, as he claims, there would have been overwhelming evidence of this, and reporting around this case would center on the fact that there was a cult operating near Disney World. Instead, it appears that Tony had researched into groups like this himself prior to the murders, and even in this impaired state, he is able to stick to his story.
I'm very forgetful the last couple of days. So, right before Christmas, I'm trying to remember the day, we had this conversation. And they said, okay, what do we need to do? Do we need to do more meditation prayer? Do we need to go to a temple? Do we need to do what? And what was told to me is that when people die, they go to different aspects. And then sometimes they meet up in the light energy aspect and that kind of stuff. Okay? So we came to the conclusion, first we sat down with the kids, and two of us, we were talking and running stick and that kind of stuff. And the two older ones understand, the 4-year-old doesn't understand, but she'll do anything for a mom. And so, Friday, what's it called? And Friday night, it was supposed to be a three-step plan, so that we all stay together and go up. One person separated to the other. The unfortunate thing, we got them to carry over and crossover. I'm still stuck here with a world that I don't want to be in.
Okay.
And then Meg went next. She didn't want to be the last one. I said, okay, no problem. So she played through her song and singing that kind of stuff. And then she upstairs, and she had one of my, I call my hunting, my fish hunting knife. So she stabbed herself in the stomach. We're very versatile. She stabbed herself in the stomach and also up here near her chest. Didn't work. Finally, she started taking Tylenol, not Tylenol, forgive me, green thing. So long story short, after she tried stabbing herself again, it didn't work. So she upped the equal, whatever it's called, and did it, and it didn't go through. And she's like, you gotta do something, you gotta do something. I'm like, what do you want me to do? And she told me she put the pillow over her face, suffocate. I said, I can't do that, Gianni. She said, if you love me, you will. I want to be with my babies now. I don't want to be in this world in chronic pain.
In Tony's letter and while on the stand, he would recite this story, claiming that his chronically ill wife, who was barely 90 pounds at the time of her death and could barely breathe most days, stabbed herself in the stomach and the chest but didn't die of her wounds. She then attempted to overdose on sleeping pills but was still unsuccessful. She then basically forced Tony to kill her, telling him to suffocate her with a pillow. That story is entirely unbelievable, and the fact that Tony then claimed her last words were, saying that, quote, she finally found something he wasn't good at, that thing being killing her, meaning that Tony expects us to believe that his wife thought so highly of him that she felt lucky to be murdered by him, which is disgusting. But Tony knows what happened. He knows that he drugged every member of his family, that he stabbed each member repeatedly, and then suffocated his wife for good measure. And despite the fact that their bodies are heavily decomposed, due to the Florida heat and humidity, he's aware that they need to be examined by the coroner, and he needs to make a story that aligns with the autopsy findings. If he just said his wife stabbed herself, but the coroner was able to surmise she died of suffocation, he would look like a liar. If he claimed that she asked him to suffocate her, but didn't mention her being heavily drugged prior to dying, he would likely look like he was hiding something. He needs to make sure the story he gives matches the evidence, while making him look innocent, which it absolutely does not do.
So that's how where it ended up after for yesterday. So it's a heavy belief for a higher transcending to a higher level. And my wife is very into that, doing that. So I became involved myself, so go take a look at it, and there's just different stories out there, really cool. So it makes sense. It's supposed to be a true website where people are coming forward. And we learned from this that, we have to transcend together to stay together in the afterlife.
What's the website?
G-A-I-A-M. G-A-M.
Gaima.
No, G-A-U-R-I. That's what it is. Gallery.
Gallery. Dot.
That's her name. I don't know her last name. I'll be honest with you. That's her name. I don't know.
So you're saying this all took place on Friday?
It happened on a Friday. I just don't know which one.
Okay.
And every day I was making sure the body's right, everything's clean. So I've tried suicide 6 times.
What have you tried to do?
When you have,
6 times. What have you tried to do?
I'm trying to remember.
Okay. Are you saying you tried to commit suicide 6 times or what?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it didn't work any of the other times.
Tell me about the children.
What about the children?
What happened to them?
Between Meg and I, we suffocated and as needed, and tried to get the aortic valve, which is deep, and we wanted to both go very, everybody go very peacefully, very anything. I say everybody, we're not leaving bad karma or anything to make sure everything's okay. And that's what happened to the kids.
So tell me, like, step by step, what took place? Who did you start with?
The baby.
The baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how did you do it?
I laid next to her. And I say, just lay on top of her.
You laid on top of her?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where did it happen at?
Her bedroom.
Her bed or her bedroom? Where at?
At our house.
Oh, I know what I'm saying, but where at? On the floor, in her pillow, on her bed?
On the mattress.
On the mattress.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't think there's anything on the pillows.
Okay. So you laid on top of her.
Mm-hmm.
How was she positioned?
She was positioned then on her back. I can't remember where the arms were, but she was definitely on her back.
Okay. So where was her face at?
I really don't know, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I wish I could tell you. I don't know.
So you're basically saying that you laid on top of,
Zoe.
you started with the little one.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name?
Zoe.
Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And suffocated her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's no signs of trauma or anything to the body, to her body?
Her body, no.
Okay.
Her body was so decomposed that when the officers arrived on the scene, they couldn't find her. She'd been placed next to her mother on the family's bed, and so little of her remained, the investigation believed she had been hidden.
I'm asking. I haven't seen her body right now. Okay. So there's no signs of trauma to Zoe's body?
No.
Okay. So she suffocated in her bed
Mm-hmm.
underneath you.
Mm-hmm.
Where was your wife during this time?
In her bedroom, pacing back and forth.
Pacing back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where were the boys at?
One was in their room and one was in the downstairs room.
Did they know what was going on?
No.
Did they ever know, the boys ever know of the plan that you and your wife had?
We sat down with the three kids before, and we went over.
About your wife being ill?
With you and that kind of stuff. And we're talking about going to a higher consciousness, so we discussed it. You know, here and everything. Just like people go to heaven, there's a higher vibrational aspect of different places. So we wanted to make sure we're all right together.
Okay. So after your daughter,
Uh-huh.
then who was next?
I started to Alec.
Alec?
Yeah, my son.
And how old is he?
13.
13.
Yeah.
What happened with Alec?
Megan and I together. She was laying in bed, and she gave me the choice of which one we're going to do, which one I want, because we knew he's strong and that kind of stuff. So she had elected to do. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I really. Oh, that's okay. So she did. She asked me which one, because we knew we had to suffocate him also.
How did you suffocate him?
I put my hand,
That's fine. Just tell me.
the palm over both the nose and the opening out of your mouth,
Mm-hmm.
and held that as Meg tried to hold them together. I tried to hold.
Was he kicking and screaming?
Mm-hmm. He was kicking.
And Megan helped?
Mm-hmm.
Megan did not help. Alec viciously fought his dad off, so much so that Tony was covered in defensive wounds and Alec's fingernails were covered in his father's DNA. Alec was significantly less drugged than any other member of his family, which led investigators to believe he'd been the first one that Tony had killed. Megan had no defensive wounds on her body, and there was no evidence that Megan participated in the murders.
Where did that take place?
At the house in the bedroom.
Your bedroom.
Yeah. So.
The house, and just to confirm, the house that we're talking about is the house that you were pulled from today? The 202 Reserve Place or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Alec was killed in his room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then who was next?
Tyler.
Tyler?
Yeah.
How old is Tyler?
Give me a sec.
That's fine.
December 30th. December. Oh, I think. I don't know this off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Is he like 12, 13, 10?
He's younger now. He's
Okay,
10.
so the other one's 13.
Yep.
Zoe's 4.
Yep.
Okay. So where was he at?
Downstairs in the we have a library downstairs with a pull-out couch. That's why we lived there.
You and your wife?
Mm-hmm. And she left beforehand and left it to me because he started kicking and everything. I asked why she left, and that's why.
Okay. Do you know what day this took place on?
It was a Friday.
Today's Monday, so do you think it was 4 days ago? Or do you think it
No.
was the previous Monday, Friday? Okay.
It wasn't just the past weekend.
So it was not this past Friday, it's beyond that?
Mm-hmm. But before that.
So then that leaves your wife,
Mm-hmm.
Megan.
Mm-hmm.
So where did she go after?
She made herself a cup of tea to calm everything down, and she headed up in the bedroom.
She went up to the master bedroom?
Our bedroom, yep. And she laid there till I got there. When I got there, they discussed, how do you want to go? And she was like, I would like to go straight with the hunting knife. She found it. It's for the tackle box.
Okay.
Okay. No,
She didn't want to be suffocated?
not initially,
Okay.
but she had stabbed herself above the navel, 4 inches above the navel, and then waited 2 hours. And that did.
Where did she move throughout the house while she was bleeding?
No, she stayed in bed.
Stayed in bed.
Okay, she got up lunch. She got up lunch after the first one.
Okay.
Um,
Is she right or left-handed?
right-handed.
Okay.
But anyway, so I gave her meds. I'm sorry.
It's okay, man.
Oh, when I just discussed things and whatnot. I'm sorry. So she took another swig of a bunch of swigs of Benadryl.
Benadryl?
Yeah, a little bit of Benadryl, but she did more wine and that's about it. And then,
So wine and Benadryl is all that's going to be in her system? Or is there any other types of medications?
oh, not in my room. We deal with supplements, medications. There'll be no other medications in the room.
Okay.
But in regards to, I take a lot of supplements also, and I'm on medication too.
Okay. But right now you're not taking your medication? No.
I have
Did
been
you-
the last couple of weeks, or the last couple of days. I'm sorry.
Okay, last couple of days.
Um,
How about any types of alcohol or anything like that?
Myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been consuming?
Copeland, Black Diamond Series Merlot.
Wine?
Oh, I'm sorry. Rum, some Coke for rum and some Cokes.
Okay.
When's
When's the last time you had any alcohol?
today's Monday.
Yeah.
I had a glass of wine, I want to say Saturday night. That's not right.
It should be noted that while living with his family's dead bodies, Tony had gone outside multiple times and had gone to a liquor store to restock on alcohol. He was not so mentally unwell that he didn't understand right and wrong or how to behave in public.
Have you been home during this last time? I mean, this last couple of days?
Uh-huh.
Have you heard like the multiple knocks at the doors and everything like that?
Did you knock at the door today? Is that you?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh,
No.
the problem is, okay. I got the knock on the door. That was the first knock I had heard. Okay?
That was today, yeah, this morning.
That's fine, yes.
Your family's been concerned. You know, they've been trying to contact you.
I know, and I do contact them, but I wasn't ready to contact them at that time.
Tony would later admit he had heard every knock on the door and he had purposely ignored them, obviously.
Okay? But when I opened, by the time I got down the stairs, the person was gone in the front. I couldn't.
So let's go back to when your wife was stabbing herself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She was laying in y'all's bed.
Yep, I went on
You
back.
said she initially stabbed herself 4 inches above the navel.
Yes,
Okay, in the abdomen.
in the abdomen.
On right side, left side, do you know?
Right to the diastasis recti because she has a ripping of the scar, ripping of the muscle from carrying.
Okay. So you said it's on the right side?
That's in the center, but I was on the right side.
She did it in the center?
Yeah.
And then what
Oh,
happened?
on the left side, right side or left side, meaning on the side of the bed?
No, I'm saying on her body. Like if you and I are sitting here and she's, you know, I didn't know if she did it right directly over the center of the navel.
No, there's a lot of websites out there. We actually found out, Quora.com, they go through how to do this.
Okay.
And so we were reading a lot.
Where did you guys research this information?
Internet,
Where at? At your home here in Celebration?
all over the place, yeah.
So is there tablets and stuff like that inside your home? Or is there something to back up your statement is what I'm saying?
There's nothing to back up my statement. We have everything right.
So let's go over what he just said. For the duration of this interview, along with every interview he gave after and his testimony on the stand, Tony claimed his wife was obsessed with a spiritual belief that required them to kill their children, then themselves, in order to be reincarnated and avoid the pending apocalypse. She was constantly online, researching this theory, but somehow there is no proof. She heavily researched this idea, but not on her phone, tablet, or computer. She was obsessed and wanted to dedicate her life to the practice, but no evidence exists. That is impossible.
Your search history and all that type of stuff on any type of devices. Okay. Is there a computer at the home that could back this up?
There's a computer at home, but I don't think it's going to back it up
Why not?
because these were articles. You know what I mean? So it's like, once you have the article, we're going to print it out again. Or we send each other a text message of the articles.
Okay. So is there? I'm just trying
No, please.
to corroborate your story by saying, you know, the first thing I would do is I'd go to your internet and you know we do a
Okay.
search warrant on that and get this, get that. I'm just trying to benefit your statement, to prove your statement.
That's fine. I
Okay.
appreciate that.
So was there phone conversations between your wife and you, like text messages or anything like that, talking about any of this?
There was one vague text message that she had wrote me saying, "This guy, I've been paid, and I need this done tonight."
Okay. So and did it happen that night?
Let's unpack what he just said. According to him, they would routinely send articles to each other about the belief that the apocalypse was coming and that they should kill themselves and their kids, which there is no evidence of. But then he goes on to say, one of the last text messages she ever sent to him was her telling him, quote, "I need this done tonight," unquote, which is so vague, it could truly mean anything. She could be referring to him cleaning the garage, fixing a door, or talking to the kids about a serious subject.
Timeline.
Exactly. I'm trying to establish a timeline.
I can't think of the timeline.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. So she stabs herself the first time in the abdomen. What does she do then?
She lays down, and we were listening to Pandora, our favorite station, the love station. We were just laying there cuddling and whatnot. She was laying on her side initially, towards her side of the bed. So we put down what was it? No, a chuck pad.
A what?
A chuck pad.
Okay.
Those big pads that go on the patients.
Okay.
And it's very strong.
Okay.
And so we lay there and cuddled for a while. And it's just like, how much longer is this going to last?
Is she bleeding? What's
Yeah,
going
she's
on?
bleeding. She's bleeding, but nothing's going the way it was supposed to go.
Okay.
Okay.
So then what happens?
We gave her Tylenol at nighttime, PM. It was okay. Gave her a PM.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. And see if we could get it, help out a little more, get the blood going, that kind of stuff. About 45 minutes later, I come walking up the stairs making sure everything's okay and everything, and she's in the shower. So I'm like, what's going on? And she's, what are we doing? And I just stopped all quirky. So we went back to bed, and I did some myofascial release and different releases of the organs. Was opening things up. I was hoping to increase the blood flow to the wound there. And that wasn't working. And she took more Vicks, it tasted better, she said, and put herself into like that she's tired and can't really articulate, doesn't want to talk too much. I asked her again, do you still want this to happen? And she goes, yes, I want to be with my babies. I want to be in the afterlife. I want to be out of here. She also believes heavily in the I can't think. She believes heavily in the fact that this is going to happen. Oh, apocalyptic divorce. Thank you. That there's different things that Earth is going to be a center aspect of from outside, and also she said that the helping people back here. I'll tell you something else. I can't remember. Oh, the world's going to end. According to Thomas, and she really believes heavily in that. At the end of this ever because of the bride meeting in the room and that kind of stuff, so it gets better.
Okay. So she wants to go be with her babies.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So she's stabbed herself once here.
Mm-hmm.
You've given some type of, what was it, supplements or something to increase the blood flow to?
No, I did myofascial release.
Myofascial release.
It's a manual therapy technique in which you can actually relax the organs and relax spasms.
Oh, okay.
Because she's been so, I've had to perfect my technique because she's been so sick for 9 years now. So we got to dive to what we can do.
Okay.
So after that, so it didn't work. Back to bed. Okay. So the second night when she wanted to put in her liver. It was just symbolic for her because this liver has gotten to a point where she can't even walk more than 20 or 30 feet some days. Mm-hmm. Some days great, some days not. So she did the knife to the liver, hoping to hit the hepatic duct, right, hepatic arteries.
Okay.
Pull it out. We laid there for another half an hour.
So where was that injury at? Hers. You can just tell me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This side of the body or over here?
Oh,
The stomach curve.
that's
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Repeat your question. I'm sorry.
Huh?
Can you repeat your question? I'm sorry.
So
Oh,
what I'm asking is, where was the secondary wound at?
Sorry. It was in the hepatic liver.
Back liver?
No, in her liver.
Okay. So the back is at, if I'm standing like this, is this going to be on her right side or her left side?
The liver is on the right side, the left side, underneath.
You're the doctor, I'm not. That's why I'm asking you.
I'm just confused for a second.
Okay, that's fine. So it was on her back.
No, she didn't. Nothing got stabbed in the back.
Oh, nothing got stabbed in the back.
Nothing.
She came through the front?
Both sides, yes.
Okay. Okay, so she stabs herself a secondary time.
Mm-hmm. Only waited a half hour, watch this. She took liquid Benadryl.
More liquid Benadryl?
Okay. Before the second knife.
Okay. Now, how is the blood coming out now? Is she flowing pretty good or what?
No, it wasn't at all, and she was getting frustrated. We waited 2 or 3 hours to see. We could do a blood clotting time, but being the 2 rooms that keep things open, nothing really was coming out.
Okay.
So I turned to her, what do you want to do? And that's what she told me.
And what did she tell you?
She please suffocate me with the gray pillow.
with the pillow?
the gray one.
Okay.
And make sure you don't dilly dally along and not be able to get to the afterlife with us.
Okay. So what'd you do?
Immediately right after that, just give me a moment, I'm looking at my time.
That's fine.
Immediately after that, I watched college football the next day. As I was cleaning up the thing.
Okay, so let me back up a little bit. When she asked you to use the gray pillow, did you use the gray pillow?
Oh, yeah, yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you suffocated her with the gray pillow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And let me ask you, what was your plan to join them?
Any which way I could go. I purchased from Sports Academy a very long hunting knife with no serrades, and wanted to make sure she could get deep enough.
She could get deep enough,
Yeah, when she jabbed it.
but she was already dead.
Yeah. One, sorry.
Yeah, I just gotta go.
Yeah.
I got a medical, hold on.
Just give us 1 second, sorry.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm not trying to.
No. Okay, so your plan was to buy this knife, or you bought this
I
knife,
bought this knife for the sole discretion of taking my life.
taking your own life. But
Yes.
you just said that you wanted, so she could get it deep enough.
I misspoke on that one. It
Okay.
okay. 2 weekends.
No, because I'm wondering is who was supposed to die first?
She was.
She was.
Yeah.
So then obviously you were set to take your own life.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you wanted to do it with a knife.
That's what my initial plan was.
Okay. Then what happened?
I chickened out with a knife. And then I went to pick up, Matt Robitussin.
So sleeping.
Exactly. Okay. And there you go. I'm not gonna try after that. But every other night, I would try a different thing. From zip tie, hanging.
Where were you gonna hang from?
I call it a hanging. It's not a hang. It's you take the zip cord. Exactly. And you put it as tight as you can. The problem is we could get bigger. I couldn't.
Tony. Listen. Where we're at right now is a very sad state. Okay.
Oh,
All 3 of your children. Are these the only 3 children that you
I
have?
have 3 children.
All 3 of your children are dead.
I know.
Your wife is dead.
I know.
You're alive.
Unfortunately.
I think to benefit everything right now, okay, I just want the truth about some things. I understand. I've spoken with a couple of the investigators that were out there this morning, and I know why they were there. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's some stuff out of Connecticut.
This was the FBI Connecticut, but I wasn't worried about that. We'll get that all handled.
This is one of the stupidest things that Tony has ever tried to convince people of, and that is saying a lot. In every statement Tony has ever given, he has claimed that he wasn't worried about the FBI investigation into him, and that the pending legal issues that the investigation would cause had absolutely no bearing on his decision to kill his family. It was just a coincidence that he killed his family after being informed that he was being charged with Medicaid fraud, which is obviously untrue. An FBI investigation is stressful. Having your workplace raided and put on the news is stressful. Tony would have every right to be agitated and upset about that. His house of cards was falling, and he was likely going to prison for his actions. But for his version of events, that was not an issue. Research has shown that family annihilators like Tony are often motivated to kill their families due to a sense of impending doom from stress. For example, Chris Watts was cheating on his pregnant wife with a coworker, had a son on the way, and was dealing with a significant amount of financial issues. As these issues compound, a person's ability to see a way forward becomes harder. Whereas an outsider will look at a divorce as the best way ahead, Chris believed that killing his pregnant wife and children was an easier option. He was more willing to kill them, bury their bodies, lie to the police repeatedly, and lie to everyone in his life than to be honest, say his marriage was over, and that he'd been unfaithful. Tony was about to be shown to his community as a fraud, a thief, and he was going to lose everything. And instead of dealing with those issues head on and telling Megan about the investigation, he killed her and their children.
So the fact that you're being investigated upstate has nothing to do with this decision that's been made down here.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Because I understand that you were a very understanding person. You were very cooperative with everything like that. You've owned up to what took place in Connecticut, and I commend you for that.
And
Okay.
I'm telling you nothing about
As human nature, it's very hard for us to admit our wrongdoings.
Exactly. If I had to do it over again, I don't know if I would. The pain and the ache, even though we want to get to the afterlife, the pain and the ache,
I mean, you murdered your 3 children.
I know.
You take full responsibility for that?
I would take full responsibility. Meg was involved, but I'll take full
Well,
responsibility.
Megan's dead.
Tony will admit to planning and executing his family in vivid detail, but it's very important that the investigators and the public know it's not his fault. It's his wife's fault. Sure, she can't defend herself because he also killed her, but he's just a nice guy who also stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from the community and was being charged with insurance fraud. But trust him, it was all his chronically ill wife. Wow.
Yeah, that's very hard for me to say that. As a father, as a husband, it's very hard for me to say that. This is not the phone call that I wanted to get this morning. Hey, we've got a couple dead kids out inside Celebration. Okay?
I understand. The plan was when we were all there, somebody would find us. We're not missing.
There's been cops at your house trying to do attempted contacts over the course of this weekend. We've had people trying to reach out to you.
This weekend. Yeah. Sunday, somebody knocked on the door. I'm assuming
Like
that.
every day this weekend, somebody's been at your house. People have been looking for you for quite a while. You have family, you have loved ones I've spoken with. They're all looking for you, everything, you know?
Yeah, I just didn't want to deal with it. There was a plan, there was a suicidal pact, a plan that we wanted to go get this done.
Is there any of this in writing or anything like that? Is there any scripture or anything like that you guys have gone over to help you?
As in the Bible?
Anything that would, I'm just saying, how in the world were you going to relay this information to loved ones if you did indeed commit suicide?
We were hoping that somebody had come in, and eventually somebody would come in and find it.
But wouldn't you rather, for the investigation purposes, not that it be worked as a homicide and maybe it was a suicide all the way around? I mean, wouldn't that make it easier for your family, for your living loved ones? I mean, sometimes if people go through this, they'll write a suicide note.
We left a note.
Did you leave a note?
Yeah, it's like written and everything.
Where's it at?
And up in the bedroom, I had put it on her side. I think it's in the back by the green. There's a green chair in the corner.
Okay.
And I think it's there. That's what I saw. It's kind of standing up.
Okay. So there is a note with the pact. It's detailing everything that you're telling me right
It doesn't
now.
detail anything we say.
What's it say?
All right. We're sorry you put yourself in this bad situation.
Is it directed to anybody?
No. That we have. It's difficult to. Words.
It's fine.
We apologize for the way this happened, but we needed to do this as family between Megan's chronic illness and the different aspects of pain and unable to breathe and that kind of stuff. So we're hoping to get everything.
Was it dated, time-stamped, anything like that
On the
on the note?
no, it was just printed out.
Printed out? When did you guys think of the note?
We're right after Thanksgiving, actually Black Friday.
So take me back to the night. Let's see. You said college football was playing the next day after you suffocated Megan.
I misspoke on that.
No, I'm just trying to get a timeline of like what game did you watch?
I don't remember. I remember watching college football. It was my thing. I sit down and watch.
Is there any teams that you specifically watch or anything like that that would help us?
If Alabama, that kind of stuff, but there's nothing.
Do you think you watched the Alabama-Michigan game?
I didn't see that game. That was just last week, wasn't it?
This answer is incredibly important. Tony is supposed to be incredibly impaired and unable to understand what is happening. He has gone through a traumatic event, he claims that he is heavily drugged, and he spent weeks living with his family's dead bodies while avoiding the police. And yet, when asked if he watched a specific football team, he knows exactly when they played last and can recall that he didn't catch the game. It's these moments that showcase that he is well aware of what is going on and was able to consent to being interviewed.
I don't know. I'm just saying, I know they played Michigan, though. Okay. So I'm just trying to get the timeline to establish the timeline for their time of death.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that way I can at least relate to the family that, like, hey, they've been deceased for X amount of days, you know, that type of stuff.
In hindsight, we do things differently, but we would do the same thing. What do you mean? We would find a different way to do it that wasn't as violent. We had hoped. Honestly, we had hoped we'd get in a bad car accident, or we had,
Yeah, but that could affect somebody else.
well, not so much with them, like slamming in the concrete wall or something like that. That's what we were thinking about.
Have you ever had any history of suicide or attempts or
No.
anything like that?
Nope.
No. Did you relay any of this information to the other investigators back up north?
No, because that happened before Thanksgiving.
Oh, I'm just wondering. I just didn't know. How long have you guys been thinking about this?
Off and on, we've off and on, we put together some ideas of what was going to happen.
Is there any type of group or anything like that follows your same beliefs? Like, is there any? I don't know if there's a church or is there any any place that you guys meet to discuss any type of this stuff, or any other witnesses that I can interview that would corroborate anything?
No, because I kept it very quiet.
Yeah.
And that's why I was returning the phone calls to my sisters and my mom and that kind of stuff. Every once in a while, I tell them, "Hey, we're here." Yeah.
There was I believe, and I may be speaking a little bit out of whatever I'm trying to say here. Sorry. Somebody said there was a phone. I believe Megan's phone was found out of town or something like that. Do
We
you know any-
we had gone to Sarasota, and I had Sarasota, and I had her phone with me.
Okay.
So I ended up losing it, and then I was in Starbucks, and I was able to get it back.
You were able to get it back?
Get my phone.
Was Megan still alive at that time?
No.
No.
Anthony just admitted to leaving the house after the murders. This is massive, as it shows that he had the ability to know right from wrong and interact with the public. If someone had just murdered their family due to a spiritual delusion, like believing the world was about to end, you would expect their behavior to match that. You wouldn't expect that person to walk into Starbucks, get a Frappuccino, and leave without issue. Anthony purposely left his wife's phone at the Starbucks in Sarasota to make it appear as if the family was still alive and had either gone on vacation or abandoned their home. He was trying to throw their family and the police off their scent, so to speak.
She was not. Okay. So we can at least get that on the books, that we know that she was already gone. Why did you go to, and where did you say you went?
Sarasota.
Why did you go to Sarasota?
I went out to see the water and do some meditation, but by the time I got out there, it was raining. That was a big thing that made.
You just picked Sarasota?
We always wanted to live in Sarasota.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Yeah, and what happened was a red tide, and so we ended up pulling out there. But any chance we get to go as a family and meditate on the beach.
Yeah, that's nice.
And in all honesty, with everything happened, you know, we just needed a solid place to go to let me gain my confidence to do the successful aspect for me, so I could join them.
Now, for Megan's sake,
Yeah.
she still has some family and stuff, right? She has
Grandparents and
an aunt.
Yep.
Her mom.
Her mom's an alcoholic.
Yeah, I've kind of heard that a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, to benefit them, why didn't you just call and bring us up to speed if you couldn't man up to finish what you started? You know what I'm saying?
Gonna try again. I was gonna try again today.
You were gonna do what today?
I was going to try suicide because it didn't work.
You were gonna try. How were you gonna try today?
Hang
Hanging. And how were you gonna do that?
over the hinges of the door frame, feet back against the bottom of the door, and lay down into it.
What were you gonna use?
I don't remember. I don't remember where it is. Yeah.
I've worked a number of suicides, so I'm just kind of curious as to what you were gonna use.
For use, it was the rope.
A rope.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought
Is there a rope there?
There is it's a cable tie. It took the end of my, at the end of my headboard on my side of the bed, and it's looped over with one of those latches.
In the
But
master? In the master room?
in the kitchen.
Or in the kitchen?
My head hurts. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm not trying to.
No, you're good. Listen, man, we got all day. It's good.
I don't really become patient with it.
You feel okay right now?
My head's spinning a little. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I just and oh
Do you know? I mean, do you know what you're doing right now? You know, you're talking to me and everything like that. You're in clear conscience. Everything.
Yeah.
Do you know where we're at?
celebration health.
Celebration Health. Do you know what today is? Approximately what month and
We're no January
January of what year?
2020.
2020. You know who the president is?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Okay. All right. I just want to go over the fact that later on, if you and I have some discrepancies about what we've talked about, I want to make sure that you're of sound mind. You're a very educated person, and I trust your judgment
I'm a
right now.
coward. That's why I am. I couldn't complete the task.
Why are you a coward?
I couldn't complete the task with my wife. No matter what I did, I had fallen downstairs like I said 6 times. Trying to go. And I thought to myself today, right? I don't know if I don't know what was going on, but I was up just sitting in the room reading a book with my family, and I started seeing all these green and red lights and these different like you cut out something like a jack-o'-lantern, you cut out something and the sled goes through. They make those through the windows. So you get those.
Christmas lights or something you were seeing? Police lights? What were you seeing?
I don't know what I was seeing because I looked out and there was no one in front of me.
After stating multiple times that he killed his family because of his wife's spiritual beliefs, he is now asserting that he was seeing things that were not there. This is likely because he wants to claim he was not of sound mind and body when the crime was committed.
Okay.
There was nobody there, and my neighbor wasn't even home.
Okay. But you know where you're at right now, and you know that you're talking and you're doing this, and you okay. So you're not like crazy out of mind or anything like that.
I'm just a coward.
You're a coward. You know, I don't even know what you're going through right now. But for the sake of the family, I'm at a loss of words. Your children were beautiful. Whether your wife was suffering or not, and whether what you're telling me is the truth right now or not, okay. If your wife was in such pain or whatever it was, then you guys could have dealt with her accordingly. But why the children?
Because we all wanted to be together. And when we had read that, we all had to go together. So that's why we're all in the bedroom, so we can go together.
Okay, that was another thing. So you said they all took place, the deaths took place in different rooms. How did everybody get back together?
Me.
What did you do?
I carried Tyler up the stairs and put him in bed. Alec is next to the other side of the hallway. So I was able to take him, carry him, and move the mattresses in and tuck everybody in.
Where's your baby at? No. I'm saying, where's her body at right now?
Oh, she was in the end room. And I brought her and put her on our bed.
Foot of the bed?
Yep. Because what the kids would help us design altar items, altar things that go up on shelves. So we had the kids make a mural, like a altar thing for everything, and we just told them, we're just having fun with this. Put your favorite things out there. They had no aspiration that it was going to happen. But when it didn't.
So you had them draw something or something like that? Is that what you're saying to bring with them?
Not draw, get the little knickknacks that they felt was very special to them.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
And that's what they were going to be taking with them to the,
Yes,
do you call it the afterlife or what do you call it?
we call it the afterlife.
The afterlife.
Go see the light into the light.
That took, so you're saying you started believing this way when?
6 or 8 months ago?
And you didn't tell anybody about it?
No, because honestly, we march from a different drummer. Anything we've done, we always get looked at and kind of, you're crazy. So we said, you know what, this is going to be our secret. You got to do this as a family and do it together.
Okay. So let me just confirm the marks that are on, if you're saying there's no marks on any of the children, they were all suffocated.
They were all suffocated. No. Alec got stabbed. So did Tyler. With the knife.
They got stabbed with a knife.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
To help go quicker.
Where did you stab them at?
In the abdomen. Trying to get the inferior vena cava.
So you stabbed them and suffocated them.
I stabbed them, and they were too strong, so I laid on top of them.
With a pillow?
Alec, no. Tyler had a pillow, yes.
So Tyler, is that, and then refresh me, is that the younger one?
The younger boy, but
Younger boy, I'm saying. I know that
Mhm.
your daughter is the baby. So Tyler, and then Alec. Alec is the oldest one.
And in the note also we have stated that we're tired of.
I didn't understand that. What did you say?
In the afterlife. Oh God. What is it? Can you repeat your question? I'm so sorry.
I was just wondering. Like I said, I haven't been within your home, so I don't know specifically. I'm being told, from some of the other people that are over there. So I'm just having you like spell out explain the house, the positionings, and the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that they're consistent with what you're telling me.
Mm-hmm. The Alec and Tyler both got stabbed in the stomach.
Stabbed in the stomach, and then suffocated.
Yes.
Your daughter?
My daughter, I don't know. I don't know if I didn't see any.
She was the first one to go?
Yeah. I poked her with the knife.
You poked her.
Yep.
Where did you poke her?
Right in the abdomen again. But as I was lining it up and everything, she moved again and again and again. And then finally it was just.
Was your wife there for that? For your daughter?
She was in the bedroom casing. So Meg's been very depressed, and we're trying to get her help also. But then we decided to do this, and there's no point in doing that. And our belief was strong in it.
You what?
Our belief was strong in this, on the light and the transmission light and that kind of stuff.
Then why didn't you carry through with yourself?
I tried. I kept screwing myself up. There.
What's that?
Did you see it?
Yeah, a little mark.
No, it's a deep cut. I tried to do it in the.
Tony never sincerely tried to kill himself because killing himself was never his actual goal. He wanted to be alive, blame the murders on his wife, and claim that she was the one who took out all the loans and overcharged his patients. Him trying to show proof of his attempt on his life by pointing to a small scratch on his arm is laughable, because even the officer refuses to give him any credit for the potential self-injury.
Am I bleeding?
No, you don't bleed.
Okay. I tried to do it in the bathtub. I tried, it didn't work.
What'd you use for that?
I've used zip ties, I've used hangings, I've used, I couldn't carry myself. So then I started reading on Quora of how to
Cora?
Quora.
Quora. What is that?
It's a website.
Quora.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they go pretty much into detail of how you can do stuff, like how you kill yourself.
Okay. Where did you research this?
Through my phone,
Your phone? What kind of phone do you have?
iPhone. Actually, it was a Samsung.
Samsung? Does it have a passcode?
Yeah.
What is it?
Which one?
Your passcode.
Yeah, which one?
I don't know. Is there a passcode to get in so I can confirm any of this?
To your phone.
Yeah,
That's your phone?
5108 is the waterhole.
5108?
Not waterhole. It's 5108.
Five what?
5108.
What is that a significant of? 5108? Is it like your last 4 of your SOCH or something like that?
5 transistors, 100 mantras each. 108 mantras, sorry.
Oh, 5108. And that's for the Samsung or Android or something like that?
That is for the Apple.
That's-
the iPhone.
Okay, 5108 for the iPhone. And you have another phone?
Yeah, Samsung
Samsung
Galaxy 10, I think it's called.
Galaxy 10. What's that passcode?
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I do believe what's happened is you save a lot of the passwords and that kind of stuff. Right? Um, 1425536. We kind of went through 7 at the top.
Say that again.
So,
You're okay. You're okay. Tony, take a deep breath, man.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
The passcode is a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 8 digits, I think.
Really?
6 digits. I'm sorry.
6. I was gonna say I've heard of 6. I have not heard of 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's not the answer. That's a.
No, he's saying it's just a 6-digit,
Okay.
but
I can't remember my password right now for Samsung. I'm gonna answer. Try 7577 capital G lowercase ULA.
it's not digits.
Oh, we're talking about passcode. Sorry. That was to open up the computer. Password to the computer.
What's the password to the computer?
Computer, how do you open the computer?
The laptop, it's a facial recognition,
Okay.
and
What's the password if you can't do the facial recognition?
that's what
Okay.
You said 7577 something.
capital G lowercase ULA.
ULA.
Yeah,
So it's 7577 capital GULA.
capital G lowercase ULA.
Lowercase ULA. All right, now back to the Android.
Yes, I'm trying. This is 6 digits. I'm trying to remember. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, which one do you use primarily, the iPhone or the Android?
The iPhone is my personal one. The Android is
Is the company one?
yeah. No, sorry. I switched 6536 onto the Samsung.
6536?
Yeah.
6536 is the Android. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, what I want to do is obviously I want to corroborate some of these statements that you're
good.
providing me. So that's why it's very critical for that.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not trying to run you around. I'm trying to tell you everything.
I love it. It's only going to benefit you. I can tell you that because if you're telling me that this morning you were doing some research about,
Oh, you asked me. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And then I can sit there and say, well, yeah, by golly, he was, researching different methods to take his own life.
And that's where I found out about the Benadryl that you need. On my size, they give the formula. I needed 2,100 milligrams of Benadryl. So I took the bottle, 2,100 milligrams of Dexet, Hepa, and the antihistamine. And that's what it's an anticholinergic, so it slows down the heart.
Damn. So you've done your research.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you seem a
Yeah.
lot more educated when it comes to medicines and all that type of stuff than I.
No,
And you seem like you're pretty with it right now. Obviously, if you're telling me,
I'm foggy. I have fog brain.
But you're giving me specific amounts and everything like that. So you seem like you're obviously
better.
you're getting better.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, 6.
Where are your phones left at?
I don't know. No, they wouldn't be on the phone.
Are they back at the house? Are they in a vehicle?
I think I had them when I came in the hospital. No, let me think.
We'll check your effects over there. I don't know if I necessarily. We'll confirm.
I don't.
Um, so, how quick after the children were the children all killed in the same day?
Yeah.
Okay. When did your wife die? How short? How soon after the children?
I just went. I can't in my head.
You're good.
No.
Take your time.
Talk. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks. So last time I saw her. What's the date actually?
Today is the 13th of January.
That's all right. It was maybe before Christmas. I was thinking on Sunday before Christmas.
Christmas, I want to say, was on a Wednesday.
Yeah, we did a Sunday.
So she died on the Sunday before Christmas.
One was positive.
When did the children die?
But that happened over the course of the minute. They died about. They died first.
I know you said
Yeah.
they died before your wife.
Yeah.
If your wife died on Sunday before Christmas, how soon before that did the children die?
Friday night.
Friday night. So they died Friday night before Christmas, and they died Sunday before Christmas. So that would be around the 21st, maybe, or so, give or take. I mean, it's not science right now. Okay, so around the 21st. So you're saying that just trying to get the timeline here. So she dies Sunday night, Christmas. Have you had any contact with any of the family since the deaths?
Since the death, yeah.
Okay, with who?
I've got my sisters.
Your sisters.
They're yelling at me because we're not around. So I make up different. We're out for the day or doing this, just to kind of. I don't like lying, but I needed to keep them off my back so I could finish what I needed to do.
Okay. How long were you going to take? I mean,
How long before I would take it up?
yeah.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
Nope. I kept going. Trying to kill myself over and over again. Is that my phone?
No, that's fine. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I always kept going, trying to figure out other methods. I even researched how to get rat poison, the cyanide aspect, so I could drink it. I've really looked into this quite a bit.
What do you think should happen from here?
Well, I need to take the hospital tonight, but in all honesty, once I'm clear, I deserve to go to jail because I didn't complete the task
What task?
of killing myself.
Okay. But
Yes, I'm sad that my children aren't with me. I'm sad my wife isn't with me, but for the greater good and the greater transcendence, I would join them after they went.
okay. So do you feel that you need to pay for what you've done?
There's always consequences, yes.
Correct. There's always consequences for everything. So,
Tony doesn't say yes. He just says there are always consequences, alluding to the fact that maybe he doesn't feel bad for what he's done. Sure, his His wife and 3 children are dead, and yeah, he is the person who killed them. But his biggest crime was not being good at killing himself, or at least that's what his wife told him and what he's repeating now.
I can't tell you how much Benadryl I've taken over the past 2 weeks. There was one day I went to bed and
Is that just to
slow it down. And
sedate yourself a little bit to not deal with the reality of what's happened?
I was dealing with what happened.
I know, but there's a lot of times that we get like quote unquote like murder suicides or something like that, where the person quote unquote like chickens out. You know what I'm saying? Which is obviously what you said earlier, kind of like what you did. You chickened out.
I took down that line of
Yeah.
bench.
And then people kind of realize that, oh shit, maybe I can't go back. You know what I'm saying? Someone is dead, loved ones, children, this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
would sleep on my bed with my wife.
you would?
I was.
Okay. Where's the knives at?
Back at the house. May kept the one for her.
The one that was used on your wife, where's that one at?
That's in the bed.
In the bed?
Yes.
Okay. Where's the one that you used to?
The Samsung.
No. You said you stabbed your wrist right here. Where's that knife?
That was.
Was that the hunting knife?
That was the big one. Yeah.
Where's that at?
That's what I'm trying to think. It was right downstairs. Downstairs, right back up. It should be in my room in my drawer, but it could be on my dresser in front of the thing.
In front of the thing. On your dresser.
On my dresser or on the table side thing.
Table side, like the nightstand?
Thank you, yes.
Okay. All right, but they all should be contained within the master bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of stuff in the home? I didn't go in the home. Did you have a lot of stuff? You guys weren't there that long, were you?
May.
Since May?
Yeah. We the downstairs is clean.
Okay.
Our bedroom's nothing.
Okay.
Kitchen's are clean.
What about your landlord? When's the last time you guys had any contact with them?
End of November.
End of November?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else to do with that other house over at Georgetown? The condo or something that you guys had?
We're just going on to it for investment and people, family and friends go and use it.
When's the last time you've been over there?
I went over there. I think we were going to went over there. It was Megan and I because we hired a babysitter for the day.
It was Megan and I, you and Megan both went over there?
We both went over there.
Okay.
And my older son,
Alec?
Alex. I don't remember being anybody there with him besides him and the two younger ones. I don't know though. I don't remember anything else being there. But
Is there stuff over there?
it's who stuff.
Is there stuff inside that home in the Georgetown apartment
Yep.
or condo or whatever it is? Okay.
It's
Where's your vehicles at?
My vehicle's in Georgetown, in the same parking lot
Okay.
as the condo.
How did you guys get around?
Us.
What?
Get around when?
Like drive or what?
After the fact or when?
Like when's the last time you've gone anywhere? Have you driven a vehicle or anything like that? Or
Yeah,
what?
I went yesterday to get milk and some drinks and whatnot because I was out.
Where at?
CVS across the street from Celebration, open 24 hours.
Oh, the one over there by the Starbucks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What time of day were you over there?
The time of day was over there. After 7 o'clock at night.
Okay.
We went to Golden. No. What time did we go get the bikes? I'm sorry. That was on a Saturday at Academy.
Back up a little bit. So the last time, you said yesterday, last night, you went and got milk from CVS.
Yes.
Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Okay. So you went to that CVS after 7 p.m.?
That was 7 p.m.
Okay. Before what time?
I was in bed So this was Saturday. It's actually Saturday into Sunday. Okay.
Okay, so Saturday night you were at CVS.
Mm-hmm. Because I took some more Benadryl at that point.
I was gonna say, where you been buying all this at?
CVS.
CVS?
No questions asked.
All right. And you drove over there?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I know, I'm familiar with the proximity. Now, you parked your van, is it the red van that they're talking about?
yeah. Park my van over the Georgetown
You
Park.
park it over at Georgetown, why?
Because I saw one, my sisters got upset with me. So I wasn't contacted, they contacted, I don't know who they contacted, but I got a well visit.
You got a what?
Yeah, a well visit, a check on you visit.
Oh, yeah, check well-being.
No, to check on what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. So I ended up, I park over there and walk back. And the reason why I was with the help, the people, community jack. If my car wasn't in the driveway, I'm not home. So I thought that worked the first time.
Okay. So you parked it over there at Georgetown to throw people off that you weren't home at Reserve Place? Okay. So you had enough sound mind to at least do that? Okay. All right. And the purchase of the knife, when was that?
That was the one that was for me, the big one, the one for
Yeah.
me. It was at Academy
Sports?
Sports on Silver Parkway. Maybe it was that night. It was after Christmas.
Did you use any type of credit card or anything like that that we can track to how you've been paying for stuff? Do you have any financials that you've been using, any type of bankings or anything like that? Debit cards, credit cards?
I used a credit card once while I was down here, I think for gas,
Okay.
but I haven't used credit cards.
Why have you been specifically using cash?
Because I had cash on me, and it was just cash reserve. And we had every week we were putting $600 away into her sewing kit, and it was about 6 or 7 weeks, so it was a little over a grand in there.
And that was in her sewing kit?
Yep, in the master closet, you go back, there's a sewing kit right on the shelf.
Okay, and that's where you're kind of tucking some cash away a little bit.
Yeah, we were tucking everything away there because we've been stolen from it, so we kept it there.
You'd stolen it?
It got stolen from us.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Sorry. Let's see.
But the only place I would go was CVS and Publix.
CVS in Publix? Okay.
Which Publix?
In Celebration. What's
Blake Boulevard?
Blake, thank you.
If loved ones ask me, is there any type of message or anything you want me to relay to them?
That's how I love money. I mean, back then in the process of this, we were doing what we thought we needed to do for ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's a bit about why I was telling them different places.
No. There was just people that were just saying, hey, I heard up when you said Sarasota, I was asking about that because somebody had said that there was a phone found over there. I didn't know if like you were trying to purposely leave stuff, you know what I'm saying, across the state to throw people off.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Give me a moment. Let me check with the staff that's outside to see if they need to come in and check with you real quick. All right. I'm just going to take a pause real quick. It is 3:53 in the afternoon, so 15:53 hours. I'm speaking with Tony.
This next portion of the audio was allowed at trial.
All right, we're back speaking with Anthony. And how do you say it, Anthony? Todt? Todt. Okay. I don't know if I read the case number before or not. Let me see. I know it's a 20I 004-299. Detective Miller, Detective Quinn, speaking with Anthony. We're here at Celebration Health. There was a room change. Is the reason why we kind of took a pause. You needed to come upstairs. I believe we're up on the 5th floor now, I believe.
Yes, fifth floor.
Okay. And what I want to do is I want to no, you're good. I want to just read you the go over the Miranda again like that, because obviously there's been a break and everything like that. Okay, so you still understand that you have the right to remain silent. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You know that anything you say can and will be used against you in court. Do you understand? You just got to verbalize a little bit.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You have the right to have an attorney present during questioning. You understand?
Mhm.
If one can't be afforded, one will be provided for you. Okay, at our cost. Do you understand?
I understand.
Okay. All right. So what I want to do is I was able to speak with some of my partners who were over there at your home. Okay. One thing that was brought up was there's no power on at the house.
I know I missed the. I meant to pay the bill and I forgot to pay the bill.
Okay, that's fine.
And haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay. How long have you been without power there at the house?
It's Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
So
obviously today's Monday, right?
today is Monday. Yep.
It's still today.
So they shut it off over the weekend.
I shut it off late at night at 9th, I think the date is.
The 9th.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might have been Saturday morning though.
Okay.
No, it was Saturday morning. Sorry. I apologize. It was Saturday morning.
Okay.
They cut the power down.
Okay. All right. So then,
Sorry.
as far as the timeline, then obviously at the time of the deaths, then the power was on.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Some clarification on. So you started with your daughter.
Mhm.
Okay. Your wife was upstairs in the room.
In her room.
In her room.
That's correct.
Okay. Is it her room or your your room, or you and your wife stay there? Okay.
Yeah.
So Zoe,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Zoe was downstairs in her room.
Upstairs in her room. Her room is at the end of the hallway.
Okay, good, because I've never been in your home. So okay, so
Alright.
her room is upstairs. I was under the assumption that it was downstairs.
No, upstairs when you come up the stairs, there's a kitchen.
Okay.
Not a kitchen. A bathroom. The master bed and bath on the right, and then you get the boys' room and her room.
Okay.
Again, Tony can recall minute details incredibly quickly, which lends credibility to the claims that he is of sound mind.
And you said that she was on her mattress.
That's correct.
Okay. Was any of her furniture moved after she was killed?
No,
No mattresses or anything like that?
I didn't move the mattress. Her mattress, no.
Okay. So then you go to which son next?
Alec.
Alec.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And where is Alec? Where was he killed at?
On his bed.
On his bed.
Mhm.
Okay. Was any of his furniture moved?
Yes, I moved his mattress in so he rests comfortably in our room.
Okay. So when you move this, tell me how you do this. Do you move his body with the furniture or with the mattress, or do you move his body first, or how does it work
Move
out?
his body first. I
Okay.
had put down a towel.
Mm-hmm.
I moved him to the towel, and then got into his room.
Okay, so you
Well,
let's slow down there. So he's on his bed.
Alec, yes,
Alec was on his bed.
yes.
What did you do next?
After he was done, after
After you killed him,
Yes.
what
she left, came out with me.
did she witness you killing Alec?
No, she was there in the room helping me with him.
She was helping you with it.
Mhm.
Okay. What did she do?
Held the feet down.
Held his feet down.
Mhm.
Now, what type of injuries did Alec sustain?
Just a one knife wound in his umbilical. I don't know. I didn't see any other injuries.
Did you inflict that wound? Huh?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And you used which knife at this point?
My wife's is a small little green-handled one.
Is it a folding knife or is it a straight
It's
knife?
a buck knife. You put it in a case. It goes in the.
Okay, so it's a straight blade. It doesn't fold. It's a green handled buck B-U-C-K knife?
That's the brand name, yeah.
That's the brand name? Where's that knife at now?
Like I was telling you before, I don't remember. I remember I came downstairs,
Okay.
didn't know what the heck was going on because I was so out there from waking up from the video.
Waking up from the Benadryl?
What was this? Please repeat the questions.
Okay, that's fine. So what I'm trying to establish is the fact that, okay, so Alec was killed on his bed.
Correct.
He had, from what I recall, you telling me was he sustained one stab wound to the torso area around the umbilical, yeah, the navel.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that didn't work, you suffocated him?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you use to suffocate Alec with?
I was able to put my hand over his nose and his mouth.
Okay. And during this time, who all was in the room?
Megan, myself.
Mine? Oh, okay.
And then she left, was out in the hallway. And I made sure he was all in the bed and everything and came out.
So Megan was in the room when Alec was killed.
Correct.
Okay. So for later on placement in the master room.
Mm-hmm.
So when you said you wanted to bring him into the room with the family.
We want to keep everybody together.
Yes. So did you kill each person and then bring them back in, or did you kill him, bring him in, and then kill him, bring him in?
The first one.
The first one. Okay. So you go from Alec. He's still in his room.
Correct.
Do he and what's your other son's name? Tyler. Do they share a room?
They do.
Okay. So where was Tyler at when you were killing Alec?
In the library playroom downstairs because one or the other had some kind of sinus cold going on and it was keeping them up, so we allowed them to separate. I don't remember.
So they kept them separated.
Kept them separated for the last couple nights there.
Okay. So then we go to Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where was Tyler killed?
On a sleeper sofa on the mattress.
Sleeper sofa, mattress, upstairs, downstairs?
Downstairs in that playroom.
In the playroom.
That's
okay.
Correct.
So all three children are okay. What Tyler? What type of injuries did he sustain?
And it was the same as Alec. He had the knife to the umbilicus, or up above the umbilicus, and that's about it.
Did you have to suffocate him out too?
Yes.
And what did you do that with?
My hand and my
Same type?
Mhm.
The hand, you went over the mouth and nose?
correct.
Okay. Do you remember what day, now that we've taken a little bit of time to think about it, do you remember when this happened, the three children?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay. But they weren't killed on the same day as Megan.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Do you guys move them the day that they were killed, or who moves? Tell me how this works.
Okay. I moved them.
Okay.
It was, sorry. Megan had died already.
Okay.
It was after the boys died. She died.
Okay.
Okay. And then a couple of days later, once rigor mortis was down, I was able to pick him up easily and carry Tyler into the bedroom
So you waited for rigor mortis
to
cease.
yeah.
Okay. And how long after the boys were killed did Megan die?
The boys were killed at night, like crossing over midnight back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then so she had that day, and then she finally passed away the next day.
Okay, so now we're saying possibly the day, like 24 hours after the kids were killed, Megan was killed?
Correct. We tried to do it right afterwards, but it wasn't working.
Okay.
That's why it took so long.
Now, getting to her death,
Yes.
Um, the marks and everything, the consistency, the injuries, are you going to be telling me that they were self-inflicted?
The knife wound was self-inflicted, yes.
How many wounds did she sustain? 2. Just confirming, because right now we're just talking. So you were holding
Hold
on.
on, no, hold on. She suffered 1. I apologize. She was.
Take a deep breath. You're good. Just to refresh your memory, you said earlier that she had sustained 2 injuries because there was one
Yes.
that didn't work,
The
and
liver
then she
and
went for the liver.
That's correct.
Okay.
Sorry.
And those were both self-inflicted.
Yes.
Okay. And then when that didn't work,
Before she did that, before we got her grape ZQL, Tylenol PM, whatever it is.
Tylenol PM.
So she wanted to rest back, to rest for a little while.
Mhm.
And when she felt she was ready, that's when she was killed.
And how was she killed?
The knife wounds,
Uh-huh.
and then she had me suffocate her with a gray pillow.
The gray pillow.
Mhm.
Okay. And that took place where?
That was in our master bedroom,
Okay, where at?
in the bed.
Okay, and let's say if I'm looking at the bed, which side of the bed was she killed on?
If you look at the bed, she was killed on the right side.
On the right side? Is that where she was found today?
I didn't move her.
You didn't move her?
No.
Okay, so and you said that you've slept in
In
the
the bed.
same room as the family on which side?
I sleep on the other side, the left side.
The left side.
Mhm.
Okay. Was there any movement of furniture or anything like that recently or after the deaths or anything?
I moved the 2 mattresses into the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Move my furniture. I didn't do much more than I had to move my dresser.
You had to move a dresser?
I had to move my dresser. It's a heavy dresser. I had to get something underneath it, so I pushed it down
Down where?
towards the door.
Yeah, okay. All right. And my partners at the scene obviously said that there was an animal.
Yes, breezy.
What is it?
Breezy.
Breezy?
Mhm.
And that's a dog?
That's a,
What kind of dog?
a Cabochon.
A what?
Cabochon?
Cabochon. I'm not familiar with that breed.
Bichon and King Cat.
Okay.
King Cat.
What happened to the dog?
We suffocated her.
You suffocated the dog too?
Mhm. Maggie wanted her fur baby with her.
Mhm.
And the kids, and everybody go together as a family. And
Okay.
she was considered a family member.
Okay. Okay. And where was the dog?
Where was the dog? The dog at that point was laying on top of our bed,
Mhm.
and we had her sit on a blanket, like one of these. And she held him down, and I kept her mouth shut.
And so Megan held the puppy down,
Mhm.
and then you suffocated him.
Mm-hmm.
And that took place where?
In the master bedroom,
In the master bedroom? In the bed?
at the edge of the bed.
At the edge of the bed. And the children were they were deceased in their original spots. Where's the dog at now? Where was the dog positioned?
The dog position now, right after she was killed, we made up her bed underneath the nightstand, and we wrapped her in a blanket and put her there.
Getting to we talked about research earlier that was done. Was there tablets, laptops, desktops? What all was utilized
I did all that research on my phone.
on your phone?
This is incredibly important. Tony had stated repeatedly that it was his wife that was radicalized by this New Age death cult. She had gone looking for some holistic remedies to her chronic pain and stumbled upon this group. And due to her diminished capacity, she was immediately taken in by their way of thinking. Earlier, Tony was clear that it was Megan who had been the decision maker in killing their children, and she had done the lion's share of the research. But now, without realizing it, he is admitting that he is the one who looked into killing their family. He is the one who sought out this information, not because he sincerely believed in reincarnation, but because he thought it would provide an excuse as to why Megan would kill their kids, because he always planned on blaming her.
Yep.
What all devices are in the home?
Let's see. I just have a desktop computer in the office,
Mhm.
and Megan and I each have a tablet PC.
You guys each have tablets?
Yeah, because she teaches, so she needs her tablet there, and I need, not tablet, the notebook. She needs hers, and I need mine. So we got two.
Are they passcoded up?
Hers is not. Mine.
Describe hers. Is it in any type of cases?
It's in a
or
blue case on top of the. There's a living room sofa table,
Uh-huh.
and it's her desk.
Okay, her desk, and it's in a blue case.
Yeah, it's right on the.
Is it an Android or an iPad or
No, it's an iPhone.
it's an iPad?
No, it's a tablet. It's a Microsoft tablet.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a
They have the keyboard attachment on them. I'm trying to think from the commercials I've seen.
It's a keyboard attachment. Yeah.
Okay, I got it. All right, so that's hers. It's in a blue case. Where's your tablet at?
Mine's on my desk in the office.
Desk in the office, and is it a
It's a tablet also.
okay
Mine case is black.
black?
Yes,
Is there a passcode on yours?
that's what I'm trying to remember. If there is a passcode, it's 7577 capital G lowercase ULA.
Okay, same thing that you given us before.
Mhm.
7577 capital G U L A.
Capital G lowercase ULA.
Okay, got it. Now, you said we went over the phones.
Mm-hmm.
The research that was done would have been on which one again?
Mine.
I know you said you had two. You have a personal and you have a work.
I lost my Galaxy.
You lost your Galaxy.
Yeah.
When did you lose your Galaxy?
Before Christmas. I don't remember.
Is it still active?
I don't know how to check if it's.
I mean, are you still paying the bill?
I'm still paying the bill, yeah.
Okay. Have you reported it missing or anything like that to the company? Who's your providers?
AT&T.
AT&T.
Hadn't had much time to go down and get the replacement phone.
Okay.
And when Meg and I started talking, like, why are we going to do this? Because we have the suicide pact that we're going to be doing. So why buy another $1,000 phone?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's my work number. But I had the girls in the office, so they were fine. They could get a hold of it.
Anybody else? Have you guys disclosed this to anybody about your pact?
No, because like I said before, we beat by our own drummer, and everything we do is weird according to people.
Okay.
So we don't share too much. We're very private.
I understand.
We don't,
I am too. I didn't know if you if you had anybody that you like a confidant, like somebody that you entrusted, a church member or anything like that. Do you guys attend any type of churches?
We're not consistent.
Okay.
But we do go.
When's the last time any of the kids attended school?
School just started up for Zoe this week, and the boys are supposed to start today at another school. We homeschool.
Oh, you homeschool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when's the last time? I understand Zoe attended some type of. Was there some type of some school or church or something like that in celebration? Somebody said. Did she? When's the last time they went into like a public environment, like a public school or anything?
A public environment is when they play piano for the ALF on in town. That was the last time they really went out, other than going out and playing basketball and that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's what I'm kind of trying to get into. Is when's the last time the children were seen outside of the home? Somebody had said something about music lessons. I understand your children were musicians.
Yeah, but they come to us.
Oh, they do.
Yep.
Who is that?
Oh God. That's
Like a teacher, an instructor?
yeah.
When's the last time that person was at your house?
Lessons ended the second week in December, and then with the holidays, we should start up again in.
What's her name?
I don't remember.
Is it
Bobby Sedgwick.
Bobby who?
Sedgwick.
Bobby Sedgwick?
I know it's Bobby.
Is it in your phone?
It's in Megan's phone.
Megan's phone. Okay.
Yeah.
And Megan's phone, I don't know, did we go over earlier? Does she have a passcode or anything on her phone?
She does not have a password.
Okay, no passcode on her phone. What was her phone again?
6465.
No. Her phone. What did it describe?
I'm sorry. iPhone. I apologize.
iPhone? Is it in any type of case or anything like that?
It might be in a. I'm trying to remember what case I got her. It is a case because she puts her ID for a celebration in the case.
Like a purse or like a ID holder type thing?
Oh, she just slides it in underneath like the cover, but I don't remember what color she was.
Okay. Where was her phone last seen?
It was with me today.
It was with you today?
Yep.
So obviously you didn't bring any phones with you here?
I have no. There's nothing up here.
Yeah, there's no, I confirmed with them you didn't have a phone on you at the time you were brought in. So obviously what I'll do is we'll just collect them during the search warrant and everything of the home.
It's not home though. Those two came with me today. Yes, sir. No, they didn't, but you took me away. I had her phone here with me.
Said it's an iPhone?
That's not her phone.
Okay. Well, we'll find it. We'll deal with it.
Oh, no.
The guys downstairs said that when you came in, you didn't have a phone on you. So I'll check. I'll confirm with the deputies and stuff like that. So power was recently turned off. The repositioning of the bodies was placement to put everybody back together.
Yeah.
Now the boys, you had to take the bodies off of the mattresses, or are they on mattresses or something like that inside the master bedroom, or how are they?
In the master bedroom.
How are they positioned?
So on the floor, parallel to the bed.
Parallel to the bed.
So from window to wall, they go this way.
Who describe the positioning? Who's closest to the window?
They're both close to the window because the window's in front of them. Alec is the first, and Tyler is the second in the back towards the green chair.
So the bed. Let's just do it from that way. So Megan's in the bed on the right side.
Right there, yeah. Right
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Megan, Zoe.
No, Zoe,
Zoe's on the foot of the bed.
on the foot of the bed.
Okay. And then who's next to the bed? Which boy's next?
Alec.
Alec?
Mm-hmm. He's in front of the toy chest at the foot of the bed. And then Tyler is next to him.
Okay. Tyler's next to Alec. Okay. And the what's the word here? The objects that they selected to bring with them, what were they?
There's this, we went to a professional soccer game, bunch of pictures, a couple characters, like Disney stuff.
Soccer from who?
Soccer from who?
No, like what team?
Oh, it's the US World Cup team. They play Canada.
World Cup team?
The US team. Sorry.
Yeah. So the U.S.
Play-
World Cup team,
Mhm.
men's played, and whose items were those?
They're both those. Both those.
Okay. All right.
There's some stuff on there from Zoe, like a canister.
What kind of canister?
You ever see those dolls where you open up and another one pops out?
Yeah.
She has two of those to the foot of the bed,
Okay.
and a picture with us at Sesame Place from this last year, in the summer.
From where?
Sesame Place.
Sesame?
Mhm.
Like Sesame Street?
Correct.
Okay. That's which park is that? Is it at one of the parks?
No, it's at in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
We had stopped there coming back after visiting family.
I got you. And getting to family, when's the last time you had contact with any family?
I talked to my mother. I think that's the last one I talked to. I think it was a week ago Wednesday.
So a week ago. So last Wednesday.
Somewhere around there.
And did you guys talk on the phone? Any text messages?
My mom and I talked extensively.
Yeah. What did you guys talk about?
The different aspects, she's with depression and that kind of stuff. How Megan was doing. Do you think we'll ever move up here so we can give you help? That kind of stuff.
What'd you tell her?
I said we were trying to make decisions what's best for us. Not quite sure what we're doing. I'm leaning towards going back there, but I'm not sure. She wasn't too happy about that.
She wasn't happy.
No, she wants us back.
Did she sense that maybe you weren't like telling the truth or something like that? I mean, obviously Megan and the kids were all deceased by this point.
Correct.
I mean, did she ask to speak with any of the kids?
Nope.
How was their relationship with their grandmother?
Not really well formed.
Okay. I didn't know if like they talked daily or they texted or FaceTimed or anything like that.
Mhm.
Okay, so it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for her to go sometime without talking to them?
Correct.
Were you guys very public people down here? Like, would you guys go out, I mean, as a family and
We would bike around, go down to the farmer's market, play tennis, play soccer in the field.
Mhm.
I can't think of it, and baseball. Not little league, but rag ball.
got it?
And they would pretty much, if she could participate in anything, she would. 9 times out of 10, her neck was out. Different aspects, blows you in the liver, bloating in all aspects, can't breathe. So she would come and enjoy.
Your wife's like medical history, did she have a physician down here that she routinely saw or seen?
We go to the chiropractor quite a bit. And that's Dr. Wells in Kissimmee, right down by the courthouse.
Because you're talking about this liver or kidneys or something like that. What was your wife's conditions? What was the problems?
All right, long story short.
Long story short, please. Yeah.
I want you to be. We went to Disney before we moved down here.
Mm-hmm.
When my 2 sons were born.
Mhm.
When Tyler was, I guess he was about 4. How would you ask?
I'm just wondering what's the medical conditions?
Oh, no,
Is she terminal or what
no one
was her?
knows, and no one can tell us.
Okay.
Basically, she has what they diagnosed as was drug-induced hepatitis. Her liver numbers were like 3,800 and her ALTSTs, and they made us like actually tour the transplant center at Yale, that kind of stuff, because her liver was failing.
Okay.
Something bit her, okay, and we don't know what it is. But she saw it, and she says it has 6 legs and a red dot on the back. I don't know what it is. I'm like, I don't know how you picked that out. But then she miscarried after that because we were pregnant then.
Okay, so she was bit, and that was over 10 years ago or 10, somewhere in there.
Let's see. Tyler, 2008. So he's 11 now. So that would have been. Wait, 8 years old, yeah. No. 4 years old.
He's how old now? 11.
2016, 2006, 10. Oh, he's 10. He's going to be going 11. I apologize.
Okay. All right, so some over 5 years ago, she was bitten,
Yes.
and she's had liver
Well,
failure.
from there, she went. We went to. She wasn't feeling well.
Okay.
It progressively got worse. And I was on my way home from a kickball tournament, and she said, "I can't breathe," because everything was just tight. So I rushed home because her doctor was out of town, and that was a Saturday that we did the dodgeball tournament.
Mhm.
Rushed there, went to pick up medication that her dentist called in for. They were thinking it was wisdom teeth.
Mhm.
And it wasn't. Then the next day she woke up after vomiting. They put her in CCCU, critical care unit, because of the fact that her heart was going crazy. Resting heart rate was like.
Where was this at?
That was Marvel emergency room. It's a satellite emergency room. A satellite.
I mean, back home,
Yes, sir.
Connecticut.
Yes, sir.
What town did you guys live in?
We lived in Colchester.
Colchester. Okay. And this was a Marlboro.
Marble, yeah.
Marlboro. All right, so they admitted her or something like that for that, and
They
then
admitted her for a little bit.
okay,
Tried to drive down those numbers.
okay.
They sent her home. It was like, oh, you're starting to make progress. You're looking good. You're moving around. Go home.
Mhm.
Not even 2 days later, her eyes were yellow. Like you could see them in the dark.
Mm.
I called a doctor friend of mine, and I was like, "Help me, what, And we found out. That's when we found out the ALT and ASTs were even higher, the liver enzymes.
Wow. Was your wife working at this point?
Stay-at-home mom,
Stay home.
homeschooling.
Okay.
Taught some yoga. Taught some anatomy at yoga classes.
Okay. All right, so it's since she's been. How long have you guys been in celebration?
We bought it in 2005. moved back up because my wife was pregnant, and then we came down 2 years ago, this coming June, to live here full time.
Okay. And my understanding was you traveled back and forth for work and all that. Yeah, it has to be miserable.
I did it for my family.
Yeah, well, that's what we all do. So 2 years ago, you guys came back down full time to Celebration.
2 years ago, yes.
Yeah. Has she been seeing any doctors? Has she been to this hospital? Has she been?
She's been to this hospital.
Does she have a routine doctor that she normally sees?
No.
No. Do you?
No.
Do the kids?
Yep, the Franz Center.
The where?
Franz Center.
Franz Center. Where is that? Is that FRANZ?
FRANZ, and that is that's in Orlando. I can't remember. It's in Orlando.
Did they have any medical conditions?
Who?
Your children?
Allergies. They both have problems with their eyes. They both were diagnosed with Lyme, as my wife was.
She was diagnosed with Lyme.
Lyme, in addition to the pathogen that there, and then, and of course, the treatment, they give her stuff that sent the liver out of control. But for the most part, they got knee pains, that kind of stuff. Just yeah.
Okay. So the pain was escalating in your wife. Yeah. Did she ever think of any alternatives behind it, or I mean, what happened with the transplants and all that stuff that you talked about?
They showed us, they went just in case it went up, and then we found out from another doctor, Brigham and Women's Hospital. There's a liver specialist up there, and there's binders about that thick for them. Sent them over to him, and he found out that it looks like drug-induced hepatitis. So basically, stay away from a lot of things that irritate the liver, and it started working.
So was it basically inoperable? Is that what they're saying? Or?
Operation was never discussed except for the point of possibly a transplant in the future if this was fail.
So prior to the suicide pact, what was the goals as far as health for your wife?
We made so many goals and they didn't work. So what we're looking at doing, and she didn't even expect to live into my daughter's teenage years. That's how bad it was getting pain-wise and whatnot. But depression set in majorly.
She use any type of narcotics or anything like that?
No.
Alcohol?
She would have a glass of wine every once in a while, but because she's afraid of irritating the liver again, so she doesn't want to do too much. A little sip here and there.
And remind me again, how did this information come up? Who found it? You or her? Or who became the believer in?
Megan has been watching. It was called Ganim TV. I think I told you the wrong TV. Ganim, Ganim.
GANIM.
Correct.
TV.
No, that was a channel that it's on the internet.
Okay.
And you can read through stories, do research. Of course, it's biased one way, but it points out different things.
Okay.
And I was like, and then she said,
she found it.
Oh yeah, she found it. And then we just kind of looking, and living life, and we tried all these different diets, from acupuncture to this, to just try to open up the liver because she can't breathe. Literally can't get out of bed. Okay, so once we got, she did the research. Yes.
Okay. Would you say within what time frame has she found it when she brought it to your attention and the research?
She brought it to my attention June, July, because we were actually
of 2019.
Yes.
June or July.
It was before Nashville. That was the second week.
What's Nashville?
My boys performed in Nashville. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was before Nashville.
Before Nashville. I think the last week in November.
What'd she tell you when she just Ganim? How'd she mention it?
I walked in one day. I said, "Hey, what are you watching?" And she won't be interested. It talks about too many things outside the box. I think no.
What was she watching it on?
Her Surface. Microsoft Surface.
Surface Pro, the tablet or the Computer when you okay. And then I'm assuming you progressively.
We just watch them over and over again and take a look at different things, reading from different sources and that kind of stuff.
All right. The notes and stuff that were found, or are there multiple notes, or did you guys have any like journals or anything like that? Did you guys discuss all this on?
Not that we discussed this. The journal is talking about how much pain she's in and right now, but this time we didn't write anything down about the suicide pact.
Do you have anything over there at the house, or any type of devices, or anybody I need to speak with? Anything investigatively that I need to do to corroborate, to help explain what has taken place?
On Earth, what was taking place? How do you explain that?
You understand what I'm saying? Like, did you guys? I don't know if you guys kept. I don't know if you specifically kept anything written down, or if you
No.
spoke. You said you didn't speak to anybody about it. You don't have anything written down.
Correct.
The note that was taken, or the note that was you explained earlier, was a typed and printed. And is that something that you did, or you and Megan did?
Megan and I worked together, putting it together,
Okay.
and then I took care of it. I finally printed it out like a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, about a week ago.
A week
Yeah,
after the deaths.
Yes. I printed it out. Didn't make any changes. I just printed it out. I'm like, if I'm supposed to go now, we need, we got to make sure everything's set and ready to go.
The method that you talked about most recently was hanging, right?
That's how my father-in-law died.
That's what
That's how my father-in-law died. Hanging. That's what gave me the idea.
your father-in-law
Died.
committed suicide.
Yep.
Okay. And it was by hanging.
Yes.
How were you going to do it?
I was looking at the door hinge and putting that latchet metal thing over the door hinge and making a noose and falling forward with that, having my feet against the door. Or I would have done it in bed, feet against the headboard, hook the headboard up, went the thing, and go from there.
Okay. And did you set anything up at the house? Is there anything that was set up in preparation of this
Like
suicide?
what?
Like, did you talked about a rope earlier, something like near a kitchen or something like that? Was there something set up in place today at the house that my partners need to look at?
I don't believe so. That at all.
I thought you said there was something over a door, or was that just an idea?
That
or
was an
what?
idea. That was hanging over the door, but I don't think.
Do you have any rope at the house to use?
I was going to use the latchet, the straps, or our dog has a long parachute. That's what Meg was recommended. I just didn't want to use that. It's a parachute string, and it's a long, and it's slippery. So it can,
And you said like a ratchet strap. Is that what you were
a
explaining?
ratchet strap. Yeah, that's what it's called.
But nothing was set up in place to indicate that you were going to commit suicide today.
Nope.
Okay. And
Yes, but
the status that you're in right now, when they made contact with you this morning, what were you taking? What type of drugs, or what type of medications? What type of alcohol?
I already had Benadryl the night before.
Just Benadryl the night before?
Yes.
How many hours before?
I want to say I was home at 9:30, so 10 o'clock.
Around 10 o'clock
Yep.
last night, so like 2,200 hours.
Two nights ago. No.
Today's Monday.
Okay. Sorry.
So what night?
Saturday night. No. Saturday night.
Okay, so Saturday night around 10 p.m. you took Benadryl?
Yes.
So you went a whole day Sunday without taking anything? What I'm trying to get at is when they made contact with you today,
Yes.
okay, were you under the influence of any type of drugs, narcotics, alcohol, anything like that?
I had Benadryl in my system, so, but no, it was we have no illegal that stuff there.
Okay. So, and then some follow up to that is, so right now, I don't know what they've given you. I don't know if, have they given you anything?
Well, I don't know. No.
I'll clarify. I don't think they've given you anything other than maybe an IV for some
Okay.
dehydration. Or I don't know what it is, but
Mhm.
Is there anything that you feel that you are under the influence of right now that would alter your judgment or your statements that you've provided to me?
I'm very foggy,
Okay.
and I'm having trouble keeping things straight.
Oh, and that's why we've gone over things like 4 times to just.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Listen, you know your life better than I do, and that's why I appreciate everything that we've gone over. Because, like I said, I've never stepped foot in your house. I've just been given this information, and I've spoken with some other, some of the other investigators and that type of stuff. So, you say foggy, all right, or your head was spinning, or whatever the
It was
case may be.
spinning. It's so foggy. I feel like I'm walking through like I don't know what it is. I feel lethargic,
Okay.
and I'm having trouble keeping concise.
But you know where you're at.
I know where I'm at. Yeah.
And you know your full name.
Yes.
You know your social.
Yes.
What's your social?
1-866-60-8324.
Okay. All right. And you know what year it is?
2020.
Okay. You understand why I'm doing all this? Just to make sure that me and you and there's only, my partner and I, we're all in here. We're all understanding where we're at. Okay. And my understanding is you've taken full responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're, remorseful for.
Ridiculously remorseful. Yeah. Like I said, I wouldn't have done it unless we were seeking the salvation. But I am sorry that I had to do this to my kids, and that's why I think sometimes like why you do this, but then go back and look at different things. Like I try that's what we do.
I mean, I can understand if the wife was in severe pain and everything like that and all that, but I just don't understand the kids. I really don't. And I'm not passing judgment or anything like that. I don't understand the kids.
We wanted everybody together.
Okay.
And that was my wife's wish, everybody together.
Okay. But your wife wasn't like seeking any outside treatments or anything like that?
God. Her, ever since she got sick,
Yeah.
she doesn't like doctors because she tried like acupuncturist and something else. And
Alternative medicine, is that what she's going after?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's fine.
This is one of the key reasons many people do not believe that Megan was nearly as ill as Tony made her out to be. There is very little evidence that Megan was unable to take care of herself the way Tony said she was. He claimed that they hired a live-in nanny of sorts to help her with the child, but this person was never asked to testify. He claimed that she went to multiple doctors for special treatment, but medical records were never produced. Her family even stated that when they spoke to her, she seemed healthy. The only evidence that indicates she was suffering to the point of considering suicide is Tony's statements.
Cool.
But other than that,
It just seems like it was such a drastic conclusion and there wasn't any attempts in between. You know what I'm saying? Like say when we come in contact with people who are terminally, I mean, they're trying everything. They've reached out to this doctor, they're flying here, they're doing this. And I'm not saying that the wife was terminal. I'm just saying that in certain circumstances when we result in suicides and that type of stuff. But it just seems like your wife was like, okay, she's in pain. She doesn't have any really explanation. And then all of a sudden, boom, kills the kids and kills yourself. Or, she kills herself or whatever it is and everything. It's just
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah,
That's exactly.
Okay. And my understanding is you took part in
Yes.
you were responsible for every death that was in that home.
I'm going to take responsibility for all that.
Well, I don't want to, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but my understanding was that your wife had stabbed herself twice. That didn't work. And what ultimately killed her?
The pillow over the head. The pillow over the head.
Suffocation.
Suffocation, thank you.
And that was by?
Myself.
Okay.
For her request.
Was there anyone else in the room?
No.
No one else.
Nope, because they moved the beds and everything after.
The bodies were, the children were in other rooms. Your wife, at the time of her death, it was you and her in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that a yes?
Oh, sorry, yes.
Okay. Sorry.
No, I apologize.
Is there any questions or any clarity that I need to go over or that you have of me at this point?
I just. The aspect of we wanted to do it our way, and we tried, failed. Okay. But Megan and the kids and everybody, and you know, they're fine. You know, they're fine.
You know that they're fine? Based upon
I can feel them.
faith?
Faith by our own religion. That's what. That's very good.
That's fine. Listen, I'm not a very religious person. I've learned a lot from you today.
I'm trying just to tell you exactly the way I am.
I believe it. I like it.
I just
Quinn, you got anything?
No, sir.
Tony, what's going to happen is obviously they're going to monitor you and everything like that, the staff here. I'm going to leave one of my partners here with you, okay? I'm going to go back over to the scene. No, not him. It's going to be one of the guys in
It
green.
was what I just felt eyes
Yeah.
here. I apologize.
You're good. You're good.
It's okay.
My biggest thing, and I just want to make this point.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We should be. I can't put it into words. I can't put it into words. I'm sorry.
What?
That's the thing. I know what I want to say. I can't get it out. Basically, we should have the opportunity. Now, granted, the kids, we did, you know, we talked about it and that kind of stuff and whatnot. We talked about death with mommy and how they wanted to go with and everything whatsoever.
Mhm.
But we should be able to like dictate when we go, and it's like
Well, that's your own beliefs and everything like that.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and everybody has the right to their beliefs.
Mhm.
But, you know, there's just some contradicting beliefs as well, you know.
The idea that everyone can dictate when they die is not a new one, but that isn't what Tony is being held accountable for. In fact, it's the opposite. Tony killed his entire family. He can claim he got their permission to kill them all he wants, but there is no tangible evidence of that. He didn't get them to sign a form or write a note in their own words, or even make a video, saying that they want to die by his hand. Instead, he researched how to kill them, heavily drugged them, and murdered them in cold blood. The only person he didn't want to kill was himself, so his point is moot.
Just because I created my children doesn't mean I get to determine when they leave this earth. And that's my belief, and that's the law. Okay? Because then the law is violated and it's called homicide. Okay? So I'll be quite blunt with you. You will be charged. Not right now. Okay? At a later time. All right? And I
I'm taking
can...
responsibility.
I can see that in your eyes. You and I are eye to eye right now. I have no doubt that you will take responsibility for these actions. Okay. I do feel bad for the family that's up north.
Mhm.
You know, I've had minimal contact. I'll deal with them accordingly.
Mhm.
Okay. And I just feel horrible for the family. You know, who may not share those same beliefs as you. Grandma, aunts, uncles, everything like that. And Megan's side, you know. There's a story that's been told, and that's by you, and I do appreciate that. Now, I hope that the evidence that's been collected and the bodies and everything tell the same story. Okay. Regardless, there's still a charge. There's still some crimes that take place. Today, in speaking, Tony, we've spoken for probably over 2 hours today, off and on. At any time, have you felt threatened by us or anything like
I don't
that?
feel threatened by you at all.
No?
No.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable in speaking with us?
I do.
Okay, that's cool. And I think you do. You've said that numerous times. I just want to clarify some things that sometimes later on down the road, people say, "Oh, you tricked me into this. You tricked me into that." Listen,
No, I told the story.
I'm doing, and I appreciate that. And you know why I'm doing that? For your children
Thank you.
and your wife,
Thank you.
okay, and the family,
Mhm.
to be able to tell them this is what happened, because now we have a better understanding. Okay, as maybe we don't agree on the same beliefs, and you've recognized that. That's the reason why you haven't confided in somebody and reached out to other people, because maybe you do things. What'd you say? You
To walk by a beat of a own drum or
a
something.
different drum or something? Yeah, you walk to the beat of a different drum.
Mhm.
And I've heard that saying before. I think they've been in lyrics and songs and stuff. So I just want to leave here knowing that we've gotten everything out in the open between you and I and Detective Quinn. Okay, and it's just, you know, it's sad, it's tragic.
You're exactly correct.
All right, what I'm going to do is I'll leave my business card. Okay. And the deputies, if they rotate out or whatever it is, because I don't know how long term you're going to be here. If there's anything, they can get a hold of me. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the scene. I'm going to help out over there. Okay. All right, Tony. got anything else? No? Okay, we'll conclude. It is 5:28 in the afternoon, 17:28 hours, January 13th, 2020.
Following the interview, Tony would claim he made the confessions under duress, and that he lied to the police in order to protect his wife. In court, he gave a widely different version of events and stated his wife, who again, he claimed was less than 90 pounds and could barely walk most days, killed their children while he was outside of the home. He then stated she stabbed herself twice and forced him to suffocate her when she didn't immediately die of her wounds. This is obviously untrue. If you want to see a thorough breakdown of his behavior at trial, our previous videos will be linked in the description box down below. As always, if you've made it to this portion in the video, thank you for watching. If there's a video you would like to see made on this channel, or a case you would like to bring more attention to, email us at dreading.official@gmail.com. With all of that said, have a great day, and remember to stay safe.